Tea with Brittany Lee. I am so glad to have everybody here. You guys are in for a treat today. We have my friend Lauren with me this morning, and she is going to be talking about dun, da, 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 how to use VRM's discount functionality to raise profit. I know that that is a huge thing for everybody. The bottom line is always what drives us to do better and to do more for our clients. We want to make sure that you guys are successful. And so Lauren's just going to walk you through a really helpful way of learning the discount codes, how you can use them to their fullest potential, because there is a lot of functionality there that, you can fill out one little section of it and you'll have a discount, but there are so many options available to you guys that I don't even know that I even knew. When Lauren was giving me her preview, I was shocked at how much information there was that went with it, and how many options. And being that I do the social media marketing at VRM, that was very exciting for me because I realized, hey, I can actually get up with clients and tell them more about these discount codes, and give them some more information on how to use them properly and how to get more bang for your buck. So I'm just going to take a second and introduce Lauren. Lauren Schreckengost. I think that's how you say your name, right, Lauren? I always
Yeah,
want to say it Schreckengost, but I think it's Schreckenghost, maybe.
striking Goss, you're right.
Okay, I had it right. All right then. But she's been with VRM for 2 years and 2 months. She started as our director of communications, and she moved to the Hope Desk. The Help Desk is what that's supposed to say. Sorry for my typo, everyone. But she moved to the Help Desk shortly after because she loved you guys so much and she wanted to help people use VRM to their fullest potential. And she is married, obviously, to a man, and his name is Elvis. That is not a typo. That is really his name, and he really does sound like Elvis when he sings. It is amazing. He has an amazing voice. So, if ever you have a chance to be in Eastern North Carolina around Lauren, you may need to call her up and ask Elvis to give you a little private concert. Um, they have a beautiful daughter, Olivia, and they are expecting another addition to their family in just 6 short weeks. So, everybody, welcome Lauren with me today, and I am so glad to have you on, Lauren. Thank you for coming.
Oh, thank you, Brittany, for letting me come. I'm very excited about this, and I know that I enjoy any chance I get to be able to help our clients learn to use the functionality. We have more than they may already be using it, so this is a great opportunity for me, and I'm definitely looking forward to it. So thank you.
Awesome.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and get started then. So as Brittany mentioned, today we're going to be talking about discount functionality. And it's one of the things that we have in our system that will help you be able to utilize um, just the system more. And I want to point out as I get started that in order to use the new discount functionality, you do need to be sure you're using one of our new online search engines and booking engines. If you are one of our clients that have already switched over to one of our responsive VRM Book Easy websites, you definitely have access to this already. If you're not using one of the responsive websites, you still might be able to use this functionality without doing any kind of upgrade, but just contact the help desk so we can check with tech support just to be sure that you are using a new enough version. This will work the way we intend for it to. And if you're not, then we can talk to you about what needs to be done so that we can get you upgraded. All right, so to access the discount functionality, you'll go to the Properties module and click on Discounts. Once you get in, this is the main screen of the discount section. And here you can see you'll be able to create a new discount. You can edit an existing one. You can delete one. And this is also where you will apply it to your properties. When you go into the screen, the discounts you already have set up will be listed, and you can sort these either by start date or by discount name. Once you go in to create a new discount, this is the screen you're going to see. And as Brittany pointed out, the main things you have to fill out are just the top section. Everything else is optional. So it can be a little intimidating when you first come in and start looking at what you've got to fill out to set up your discount. But again, just keep in mind the top section is what you're going to need to take care of. And that's just going to be the name, the amount for the discount, the type of discount, and your arrival and departure dates. The name field is what you're going to see in your list of discounts. So just be sure that when you name your discount, you give it a name that you'll recognize. If you're going to put in a lot of discounts that are very similar, for instance, 10% off first week of June or 10% off first week of July, go ahead and put the dates in your name so that when you look at your discount, you know which discount it is. I would suggest not just putting 10% off, because if you end up with many discounts that are 10% off, it's going to be very difficult to go through and find the one you're looking for when you want to apply it to a property or if you need to edit it. The description field is actually optional. You can use this area to include more information about the discount you're setting up just for your own benefit. And right now, this field does not pull anywhere that a guest can see it. But I talked with our tech team to see if there were any plans for that to change in the future, because I would hate to steer you all in the wrong direction and say, you know, feel free to enter anything you want there, and then it show up later for the guest to see. And I was told that right now there are not plans to include this anywhere that would be visible to a guest, but there is a possibility that will change with further development. So just keep that in mind if you're putting additional information in this field. In the amount field, you'll want to enter what the amount is of your discount or markup, and you do have the choice of either doing it as a dollar or a percent. So when you put the number in here, if you put in 25, you can either have a $25 discount or a 25% discount. And I say discount, but you do have the option of doing this as a discount or a markup. So if you don't want to do it as a discount, but would rather add the charge in to the rent amount, you can set this up as a markup. The prorate box that you see displayed here only works when you select percent. It does not work with a dollar amount. And with the prorate box, it is used, again, like I said, just with the percentage. If you choose not to check the prorate box, whatever your percentage discount or markup is that you select is going to apply to the entire cost of the reservation, the entire rent amount for that reservation. If you do decide you want to prorate it, so perhaps you don't want to discount the entire reservation, if you click the prorate box here, only the nights that fall between the arrival date and the departure date that you enter will receive that discount. So if you enter 10% discount and check the prorate box, and perhaps the reservation itself lasts a week, but only 3 nights fall within the dates you put in the arrival date and departure date box, those 3 nights are the only 3 nights that will receive the discount. So it's just giving you a little bit of flexibility there as far as how you apply the discount to the reservation. The arrival and departure date fields, pretty self-explanatory. Here you would put in the check-in and check-out dates that you would like a reservation to fall within in order for them to receive the discount or markup. Now with that, you can make this a little bit more specific if you would like to by using the optional reservation arrival configuration box. And we'll go over what that does, but if you are in there setting a discount up and you forget what that box does, you can mouse over the little eye icon and you'll get this black pop-up box that will explain it to you. In fact, throughout the discount functionality screen, there are little eye icons for each section that you can mouse over for additional information. For the optional reservation arrival configuration box, this works with your arrival and departure dates. If you leave this box unchecked, when a guest is setting up a new reservation, their reservation will have to either check in or check out between the dates you put in the arrival and departure boxes. So again, checking in or out between that time period makes their reservation eligible for the discount or markup. If you only want the discount or markup to apply to reservations that check in and out arrival and departure boxes, be sure to check this optional reservation arrival configuration box. And again, it just gives you a little bit more flexibility. So if you're running a special, for instance, for the month of July, and you put July 1st in for the arrival box, end of July for the departure box, and you have a reservation that overlaps, maybe checks in June, but checks out in July. You can decide whether you want that reservation to receive the discount or not. If you do want that reservation to receive the discount, leave this box unchecked, because again, the reservation will be checking out in the month of July, even though they didn't check in during that month. But if you want the reservation to not receive the discount, then be sure to check that box. Because again, since the reservation checked in outside of those dates, it will not receive the discount. Moving down to the optional fields that you can fill in for your discounts, the first one is the applicable dates. These fields allow you to tell the system when you want the guest to make their reservation. So for example, if you want to run a special for, let's say for the fall, and you want to say, all right, guests, you'll get a discount if you book in the month of July for the month of September. You'll enter your September dates in the arrival and departure date boxes at the top, but here you enter your dates that you want the guest to make the reservation in order to receive the discount. So you'll put the July dates here for the applicable start and end date. And that's just telling the system that if a guest makes a reservation between these dates and checks in between the dates at the top, they'll receive the discount. The auto day fields let you determine how many days a reservation needs to last in order for the discount or markup to apply. And so with that, you've got the two fields to complete, the auto day begin, the auto day end, and then you also have a drop-down menu, the auto day type box. When you've selected equal to from the auto day type box, the reservation that a guest is making has got to be equal to the number of days that you enter in the auto day begin box. If you select less than from the auto day type box, then a reservation has to be less than the number of days you've entered in the auto day begin box in order to receive the discount or markup. If you've selected greater than, then the reservation has to be greater than the number of days in the auto day begin box, but less than the number of days in the auto day end box in order for them to receive the discount or markup. And finally, you can select the not equal to option under the auto day type. When you select that, the reservation has got to be not equal to the number of days entered in the auto day begin box. And again, with this, if you forget how that all works out and which boxes have to be filled in, just mouse over the little eye icon and it'll remind you how the drop downs work with the auto day begin and auto day end boxes. The lead time section allows you to decide how long before a reservation checks in that it can be made in order to receive the discount. So I know that some companies do discounts for properties if it's 2 weeks out. So if a guest is making a reservation 2 weeks before they want to check in, they'll give them a discount. And this is where you can set that up. So here you can enter in between how many days before check-in you want the discount to apply. So for example, if you wanted to give a 25% discount if a guest is making a reservation within 2 weeks of when they want to check in, you'd enter 0 in the first box and 14 in the second box. And that just tells the system if the guest is booking between 0 and 14 days before they're going to check in, they'll receive the discount. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The occupancy data section is one of the most confusing sections with the discounts. I have gone over this and tried very hard to wrap my mind around it so that I could explain it in a way that makes sense. So I'm just going to warn you, if it doesn't make sense, you're not alone. Just feel free to ask us questions about this and we can go into more details for you. But I do want to take a little bit longer on this section to try to explain how it works. Basically, what this section is allowing you to do is to determine if you want to give a discount or a markup based on the occupancy percentage of a specific property. So the discount or markup is tied into how many bookings there are for a specific property for a specific time frame. And what happens when you fill this information in, the system itself will calculate the occupancy percentage when a guest is making a reservation, and it's going to be based on the property's occupancy percentage. So it's figured out by using the information, by how many reservations are in the system, the number of days you put in before check-in and check-out of a new reservation, the length of stay of the new reservation being created, and any pre-existing reservations. But again, we're going to walk through this so that you have a better understanding of how this works.
Hey, Lauren, can I interrupt you for 1 second? Actually, can you go back to the previous slide? Um, uh, Gay Weber from Carolina Mornings is on here, and he actually put a really good note for me in here. So I just want to make sure that everybody knows. He said that the percentage is approximate, it's not exact, and the owner reservations and blackouts don't count against the occupancy percentage. So it's only counting towards your paid nights of booking. So I just really felt like that was a great point, and I wanted to mention that. And thank you to Gay for bringing that up for us.
Yes, thank you very much, Gay. I appreciate that. I appreciate any input from clients who have used this who can add a little bit more details to what I've got. So thank you very much, Brittany, for sharing that, and thank you, Gay, for posting that. And that's a very good point.
And just a note to everybody, if you have questions as we're going through this, feel free to use the question feature on GoToWebinar. I monitor that the whole time that Lauren's talking, so we can try and answer questions for you as we go and everything. And so you can feel free to stick those in there.
Thank you, Brittany. All right. So then looking at the way the occupancy is calculated, it's going to compare what the system calculates for the occupancy percentage to what you all will enter in the occupancy percentage box, and whether you want it to be equal to, less than or equal to, or greater than or equal to what you've entered. So you can tell the system if you enter in 25% set it to less than or equal to, then the system knows that when it calculates the occupancy percentage rate based on the specific reservation that's being made, if it is less than or equal to the 25%, which is what you've determined, the discount or markup will apply. And I've got an example of that, so we can start looking at it. But first I want to show you the actual calculations the system's performing. For people who are mathematically minded, it does help to see where the numbers are coming from. So what the system is doing when it calculates the percentage, it's going to take the number of days that are already been reserved within the time frame you've set based on the number of days you put in the before and after check-in, check-out boxes. It's going to take that number, so the number of days that have already been reserved, and it's going to divide the sum of the number of the new days, of the days within the new reservation, and the numbers you've entered in the number of days before check-in box and the number of days after checkout box. So that's the formula that the system uses. So I've got an example here. So if you've set it up and you've put in 30 in both the number of days before check-in and number of days after checkout boxes, you set your occupancy percentage to 25, and you've selected the less than or equal to box, then you're telling the system that you want the discount or markup to apply if the calculated occupancy percentage is less than or equal to 25%. So in other words, if a property is only 25% rented or less than 25% rented for the specified time frame, which again is determined by the 30 days you've entered here, then the guest is going to get the discount. And as Gay pointed out, when it's figuring out the number of days that have already been rented or have already been booked, it doesn't count the owner reservations or the blackout dates. So again, a very important thing to remember. So for an example, Let's pretend we have a guest that's making a reservation between April 7th and April 14th. The system is going to look for reservations that already exist between March 9th and April 7th, which would be the 30 days before the check-in date. And again, that's based on what you've entered in this box right here. And it's going to check for reservations between April 14th and May 13th, which again is going to be the 30 days after the checkout date, which is based on the 30 that you've entered in this field. So for our example, your system already has 2 reservations that fall within that time frame. There's one for March 24th through the 30th, and there's a second reservation from April 21st through April 28th. So looking at all of our numbers, we know that the number that you've entered in the number of days before check-in box is 30. The number that you've entered in the number of days after checkout box is also 30. The reservation that the guest is making, so our new reservation, checks in on April 7th and out on April 14th. So we have a 7-day reservation, and we have 2 pre-existing reservations, each for 7 days. So the total number of pre-existing days we have that have already been booked within our time frame is 14. So the system's going to take those numbers and is going to calculate the occupancy percentage. So it will divide the sum of the total number of pre-existing reservations for the property that's being booked. It's going to take that number and will divide it by the sum of the number of days for the new reservation and the number of days you've entered in the number of days before check-in box and the number of days after checkout box. So for this example, we know we have 14 days that have already been reserved, pre-existing reservations. So the system will divide 14 by the sum of the new days for the reservation, which we know is 7, plus 30 and 30, which again are the 2 numbers that you've entered in the number of days before check-in box and the number of days after checkout box. So we've got 14 divided by 67, which comes out to 0.208, which is about 21%. So 21% is the occupancy percentage when using the dates of the new reservation. And again, this is what the system calculated for us. So the system will take the 21% for this reservation, and we'll go back and look at what you've entered. And since you've entered 25% occupancy and you selected the less than or equal to, then this reservation would get the discount because the calculated occupancy rate for this specific reservation is 21%, which again, less than or equal to 25, so this guest would receive the discount or markup. So that's just an example, a little bit more detailed as far as how that section works. But again, we're happy to answer questions about that if you have them. Moving on to an easier to understand section of the discount functionality is the days of the week criteria. Here you can determine which days of the week a reservation has to check in on or out on in order to receive the discount or the markup. So with this, even if you enter the date at the top of the screen in that first section and you're given the discount before the month of July, let's say, you still can decide that you want to only discount it if a guest is checking in during the week, just to up your weekly rentals. And that probably would work better during the off season than during the summer season, so I'm sure you don't want to split weeks up if you don't have to. But if you do have properties that do rent midweek to midweek, you can set it up like this. So here you can say you only want to offer the discount if a guest is checking in on Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, or if they're checking out on Wednesday or Thursday. Just gives you a little bit more flexibility as far as which reservations will receive the discount. And you can also use this section to determine the minimum or maximum number of days a reservation has to be in order to receive the discount. So it could be you've got your time frame set. If a guest comes in the month of October, they'll receive 10% off, but the reservation has to be for at least 3 nights. So if you put 3 in the min number days box, and as long as the reservation is at least 3 nights long, they'll receive the discount. If you put 3 in this box, but the guest only reserves for 2 nights, they will not receive the discount. So again, just another way to narrow down who's getting a discount and what types you're going to give. With a nightly configuration section, you can decide if you want your discount to apply once for the entire stay, or if you just want to discount specific nights of a reservation. And I know with some hotel chains, they'll do that. They'll have a higher rate for the weekend nights, but a lower rate during the week. And you can use this setup to do basically the same thing. So if you set it up at the top and you want to give, let's say, $10 off a night if the guest stays during the week, at the top of the page, you'll do your $10, which set as a discount, and then here you'll pick which nights they'll get the $10 off. So if you just want to discount, let's say Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, so just the weeknights, you can select those 4 nights here, and the guest will only get $10 off those 4 nights. Sunday night, Friday night, Saturday night, they would pay whatever the regular nightly rate would be, but again, they can get a little bit of a break for staying during the week. And with that, you can determine if there's a maximum number of times you want to give the discount, you can put that in the box. So even if you want to discount the nights of Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but you really don't want to discount all 4 nights if a guest stays for a week, you can still put 3 in this box, which means the guest will get 3 of those nights discounted, but the 4th night will still be at the regular price. The next section is the number of guests section. This one would be used more if you're doing a markup than a discount. And what you can do here is tell the system to charge an additional amount for extra guests. So with this section, if you want to use it, if you click on the Apply Per Guest box and then select the value from the drop-down menu here for min guests and pick the number of guests that you would like to have the discount apply if the reservation occupancy goes beyond, the discount or markup would be added at that point. So for example, if you have a property that usually sleeps 4, but you'll allow 6 people to stay there for an additional charge, you can check the Apply Per Guest box and select 4 from the min guest drop-down box. And then for each guest after 4 that stays in the property, they would be charged whatever the markup was you set up at the top of the screen. So then if you say $10 markup, you set it up at the top of the screen, and in this section you select again 4 from the drop down, and you have 6 guests staying in the property, then they'll be charged the $10 for guest number 5 and the $10 for guest number 6. And that's going to be based on the number that the guest enters when making the reservation, as far as how many people would be staying in this property. That's where that number comes from. And the final part of the discount functionality is the promotional code. This section can be used if you only want a guest to be able to get a discount if they have a promotional code. So if you want to do a mailing perhaps, send it out to guests who booked with you last year, but maybe haven't booked with you this year, and say, hey, we miss you, come back, stay with us, we'll give you 10% off your reservation if you use this discount code. Welcome back. So you'll put that in your mailing, and you'll set that up here on the discount functionality screen under the promotional code. You'll put in welcome back, and that's what a guest will have to enter on the checkout screen, on the Book It Now screen when they're making their reservation in order to receive the discount. But just keep in mind that the promotional code functionality will only work with the new online search engine. And again, if you have questions about whether or not you can use this part of the discount functionality, just put in a ticket to help, and we'll check with tech support to be sure that you can use that. And it's definitely possible you can use all other parts of the discount functionality, but just can't utilize the promotional code portion of it. So just keep that in mind, and these are used for online reservations. Once you have your discount set up, you need to make sure that you apply it to the property. And there are 2 places you need to apply a discount to a property. The first one is through the discount screen. So if you've gone back out to our main screen where we started, to apply the discount to the property, you'll highlight your discount and click on the Apply button. And this is what the screen's going to look like when you automatically go into it. It's going to be pretty blank. So you're going to want to select the office that the property belongs to, and then check the box beside the property or properties you want to apply your discount or markup to. And you can apply more than one property to a discount as long as everything about the discount is the same and you want it to work exactly the same way for each property. Once you've selected your properties, click the Add button, and this will move the property from the left side of the screen to the right side of the screen and will apply the discount or markup to them. The second place you've got to be sure that you have set up for your discount to apply is actually at the property level. So you're going to want to go to the Properties module and click on Manage Properties. Once you're in there, select your office, the property you want to apply the discount to, and click Edit. Then you're going to want to go to the Miscellaneous tab and make sure the Allow Discounts box is checked. If you apply the discount to your property, but this box is not checked, the discount really will not work with the property. So it's just a second place that we just need to double check to be sure everything is set up and functioning correctly in order for the discounts that you've set up to be applied to the properties and for reservations for the guests to make. Once your discount has been applied to your property, if guests are going online making reservations, they will see the discount on the web page. They'll see it in a number of places, but two of the places that they will definitely see it is if they're looking at a property and they've clicked on the Calculate Price button, they'll see the discount displayed. So they'll see the rent amount and the discount, and it'll break it down for them and then show what the total rent is with the discount calculated as part of it. They'll also see it on the Book It Now page. So when they go in to make their reservation, they'll also see that they're getting a discount. And I know for guests, that's a huge relief to be told they're getting a discount, but then to actually see it. So yes, the guest will see the discount when they're going in, checking prices, and making their reservation. One of the questions we've gotten before regarding discounts is how does that affect the management fee? And with this, you actually have the option of whether or not the discount will be included when you're figuring the management fee, or whether the management fee will be configured just based on the regular rent amount. For that, we've added a new drop-down menu named Base After Discounts, and that's in the Office Configuration section of the Admin Console. And this just lets you determine whether or not the discounted amount is going to be included or excluded when calculating the management fee. So you have the options of either selecting net or gross from that. And I'll walk you through where that is. But to access it, you'll go to the System Configuration, Company, Offices tab. You'll select your office and the Edit button. And then once you do, you'll see a new section that says Base After Discounts. If the net option is selected, then when the management fee is being calculated, it's going to be based on the rent minus the discount. However, if you select gross from this drop-down menu, then the management fee is going to be calculated based on just the rental amount. The system will not consider the discount when it's calculating the management fee. So just wanted to throw that out there in case you had questions about that, or in case you're looking at different statements or the general ledger journaling or wondering how the money is being calculated. So now we've gone through a whole lot of things today, but I just want to leave you with a couple of reminders. I understand that the discount functionality section can be overwhelming because there's so many different fields that can be filled out and that can help you narrow down what type of reservation you want to give a discount to. But don't be overwhelmed by them. When you're setting up your discount or your markup, just remember the only fields you have to fill in are the ones at the very top. Everything else is optional, and if you don't touch a single one of these other fields, your discount or markup still will be created. You just have to have the name, the amount, whether it's a dollar or percentage, whether it's a discount or markup, and your arrival and departure dates. That's all you have to enter. Even the prorate box and the optional reservation arrival configuration box, and description field. Even those are optional. So again, it's not as scary as it looks, but it can be intimidating. So just wanted to remind you of that. And also, after you set your discount up, be sure that you apply it in two places. You need to apply it through the discount screen by clicking the apply button, and you also need to make sure that the allow discounts box is checked at the property level. That way, your discount will apply that you've worked so hard on to get set up. And as you're going through setting these up, if you run into questions or need help, or just want somebody to look over what you're doing, feel free to contact the help desk. We are always here for you, and we will be glad to look at any discounts that you're getting set up, or if you have a discount you want to create, but you're not sure how to do it in the system, just ask us. We'll be glad to look at things and to give you suggestions as far as what you can do to get this set up. And you can contact us three ways. You can go through the quick access menu by clicking on the little help button. You can go through the customer portal, and you can always email us at help@vrmgr.com. So don't hesitate if you get lost or just want clarification or just to be reminded on how something works. We're here for you. I want to thank you all very much for your time. And Brittany, thank you very much for allowing me to be here today. I'm happy to take any questions that people have. And if I don't have the answers for you today, I will be sure to get them to you as soon as I possibly can. Do we have any questions?
Awesome. Yes, we do actually have a few questions. I got one from Stephanie Weiland. She said, is there a report in VRM that allows you to view the occupancy rate for an individual property in order to determine how the unit is performing? She said, at this point, I'm only aware of an occupancy report that shows the total for the office, which has all the properties. And she said that as a company that they've created a report under reporting services to give them that information, but she wanted to see if an individual property occupancy rate was available as a regular report.
Stephanie, that's a really good question. I am not familiar with one right now. However, I have made a note of that, and I will check with our development department to see if that's something that is available or if it's something that we can provide to you. And as soon as I get an answer for that, I will send you an email to let you know. And that's just the occupancy rate per property. For a specific time frame, is that what you're looking for?
Yes, I think it was just per property. So,
Okay.
okay, the next question was actually from Gay. Again, he said, another question worth noting for the group. As of now, multiple discounts that meet the criteria can stack. So if you do a 10% discount for occupancy and a 10% discount for lead time and a 10% discount for promotion code, someone could accidentally get 30% off. So that is a really good reason to make sure that you contact the help desk if you have any questions at all about your discount codes. Our help desk ladies are some of the superheroes of VRM, so definitely don't feel nervous to reach out to them. We love to hear from our clients. We want to make sure that you guys get the best information possible. So yeah, and just want to mention, thank you, Carol. Carol said, thanks. Practical examples are always helpful. So thank you, Lauren. You did a really great job today, and I'm just so glad to have had you on Tea with Brittany Lee. And if you guys have any more questions about the discount code functionality, Lauren's mentioned this a couple of times, but just be sure to contact the help desk. There were those 3 different ways that you can contact us. We're happy to help our customers as much as possible to make sure that you get the best experience using VRM and that it makes your busy season as uncomplicated as possible. We know you already have a lot on your plates, so we want to make your lives a lot easier. next month on Tea with Brittany Lee, I am super excited. We are actually going to be introducing our new long-term manager that will blow your mind. So make sure that you sign up for that. That will be in our follow-up email. I'm going to have a link to that. So make sure you sign up to attend that webinar. And even if you can't be at the webinar, if you sign up, then go to webinar. We'll actually send you all of the recordings and the slides that we hand out and all that stuff right to your inbox. So if you can't happen to be there, sign up anyway. That means we know that you're interested in the kind of stuff that we're sharing. And if anybody ever has any thoughts on things that you would like us to talk about, feel free to send those to Brittany at virtualresortmanager.com. So thank you all so much for coming out today. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Lauren, for your time. You were just awesome. And I hope to see you all next month on Tea with Brittany Lee. Have a great night or day.
Thanks, Brittany.